purpose of this recording is to show some details around how the standard D365 finance and supply chain security rules can be applied both globally and to organization-specific settings, and then how the Avantiico multi-company automation solution, AMCS, can use additional advanced security and legal entity exclusions to further lock that down. If you look at the slide on the screen, you'll see at the top the global standard security rules, which control the duties and privileges and permissions that users have within D365. These are assigned per user, and they can be modified to give users access to exactly what they need. That's all standard D365. Also in standard D365, you can take these standard security roles and do organization assignments. And you can either apply specific legal entity assignments, or you can use organization hierarchies to define if somebody is an accounting manager, in which legal entities does that role apply to. In addition, in the AMCS module, the things that we do are global. We're giving users access to take action, to look at data globally, and that requires some additional advanced security to control what they have access to and what they can see. So I'll jump over to a Dynamics 365 environment, and I'll start with the standard security roles. So in the system administration module, if you go to users, you can assign security roles to users. This can be done either here in the user interface, or you can be done via import. I can come in and I can assign a role, either for AMCS or a standard role. And let's say I give the asset manager role. So at this point, my user Anne has the ability to look at fixed asset reporting across different legal entities within the AMCS module. I can come in and I can assign organizations here to apply another layer of security. And so the default behavior is that it will say grant access to all organizations, or I can grant access to specific organizations. I can select an organization hierarchy if I have those to define a group of legal entities, or I can define by entity which organizations she should be granted access to. So by applying this now, she has access only to these legal entities that I've defined for this particular role. That's all standard functionality. Within the AMCS module, we can do a little bit more. And again, the AMCS module, the purpose is to give users global forms where they can access data across legal entities without the pain of switching between legal entities, exporting data to stitch it together, and any other hoops that they might be jumping to manage multiple legal entities in D365. Within the setup here, I can apply what are called multi-legal entity security groups. So in this group, I can give it a name and a description, and I can say, what should this group have access to? So in this case, there's a mixture here of imports. They can load ledger journals and do budget allocations and trade agreement journals and so on, but they also have access to the global trial balance and some other reports and inquiries. The users that are in scope for this particular group have been selected here. And then similarly, I'm defining for which companies this applies. So let's say that a user needs the ability to import data only into a small selection of legal entities, but they might want to be able to view reporting data for many other legal entities. You could create two different security groups and give the different access as needed for the two different types of forms. In addition to that, we can go one layer deeper with legal entity selection templates. So if I go into a report, for example, let's say our multi-company trial balance, I can come in as a user and I can say for which companies do I want to run my trial balance, or I can just choose a legal entity selection template. And so here this will show the 5 legal entities that I am running this for. So as a user, I can give users access to these templates to be able to select the legal entities that are relevant for them. In addition, though, we can also create what are called excluded legal entity selections. And we can say for a specific user or a group of users that they should have not have access to a specific company or a group of companies as defined here. So if I create a new one and I say new template, I can select a group of users, let's say my European users, and I can say they should never see my US legal entities. And by saving this, any users that are in this group will never see any companies that are in this group in any form within the AMCS module. and they'll be limited from being able to access that information. So it just gives one layer of additional control when you're working in global forums.